This is a N63 engine, V8 twin turbo, 4.4 liter on a 2012 X550. And what we're going to do today is change the, well, I'm going to attempt to change the high pressure fuel sensor here on the passenger side. You can see I took off the intake, air intake hose here. And then I don't think we're going to need to take this off, this engine cover off. So I'm just going to leave that there. And the next step we're going to do is we are going to take this wheel off. And then after we take the wheel off, we got to take the trim off. Then we got to take the trim off. We got to take the wheel arches off, or lining. And in order to do that, of course, you got to jack up the car and whatnot. And on this car, you can see we've got the somebody put aftermarket plugs in there, but originally stock, you had these rivets that have center plugs in them, and you get like a punch, and you hammer it, and it'll push the plug, and then you can release the rivet. But here, we can just take these out with a screwdriver or a tool, trim removal tool. So let's get started. Of course, when you're doing anything related to fuel work or any electronics, you want to remove the battery terminal in the back, the negative terminal. This is the back of the X5. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Phillips screws. Take those out, you undo them, and this comes right up. And now you've got access to the battery terminal, which is a 10mm. You unscrew this, comes right off. What I like to do is, put a rag on top of the terminal. That way, there's no way it can accidentally touch. Alright, so the wheel's off. We've got these 8mm, I think there's about 10 of them, as well as these rivets that need to come off. And what I'm using to get them off is a T15 x 4 inch. It can be shorter, of course, but as you can see here, get that in focus. You put it in the center and you hammer it in, boom. And see here, that center point right there. I can't do it with one hand, but obviously. So I'm going to hammer these out. I've got 3 more, 1, 2, and 3. And then we'll take this trim off. Alrighty, so got the rivets out. The center point is out. It's a super fine screwdriver flathead that we're going to put under each rivet. Going to wiggle it and get under it right there. See? And then we're just going to pry it out. And they look like that, and they are not reusable. And I'm gonna got 2 more. That's what the trim, you just pull it straight out. It can be stuck on a little bit firm, but it'll come out. So, see? It's gonna work its way out. Alright, so now that I've removed the wheel arch, wheel lining, you can see we got exposure to access to a lot of different things, such as how to remove the headlight and whatnot. This headlight here, which we're going to do in the future. And now that I'm looking at it, the other night I replaced this PCV, positive crankcase valve hose, and the valve itself. And I didn't get this access because I didn't remove the wheel arch the other night. So I had to feel around and at that weird angle, I had to press these guys in and wiggle it out, right? That was really hard. It took me like an hour because I just could not get a good angle. But this is where the hose goes here, and the hose is right in front of the high pressure fuel sensor, and so you can't see this thing from above. Anyways, let's remove this. There's a little tab somewhere, I know. Oh, there you go. And then you just kind of wiggle it out. It should slide out pretty easily. Okay, so that's what the connector looks like, and that's, you know, this is top like that. So you'll press on this little lever here, and then you just wiggle it out. There's your high pressure fuel sensor. Now, before you remove this, you want to cover this and make sure there's no fuel that goes in here. So you want to get a rag and kind of, you know, cover everything, because you don't want to foul up your coils accidentally, whatnot, if there's a bunch of fuel spraying out. So I'm gonna go do that. All right, so what I'm gonna use to remove the fuel sensor from the fuel rail is a clutch, half-inch drive. It can be a 3/4, as long as it's a deep socket. It's a 1 1/16 inch. The millimeter equivalent is 27 millimeters, and I do have a Husky 27 millimeter 6-sided, but I can't use it because you see the interior there. There's a it's shallow, right? Whereas this guy is all the way, almost all the way to the end, and that means that the Husky 27 millimeter form factor will not permit you to, see, it stops it because it's shallow right there. See, it won't go in. Whereas this guy, the deep socket, all the way to the end, the 1 1/16 inch, it'll go all the way. And so that's why I had to go to Northern Tools and get this socket. So this is the new pressure sensor, and all you got to do is, I've got a special Husky super fine ratcheting wrench. Now see, it's like 100 clicks, I think, whereas the other one, the normal one, is like, I think, 25 clicks per turn or something. But anyways, this is a super fine one. I got this one at it's adjustable angle, and I got it at Home Depot. And I also got this medium to big adapter, because this ratchet is a 3/8, see, 3/8 to 1/2 inch. So you're gonna need that adapter. Clicks on. Then we are going to see if we can't fit the sucker in here. So I've got the rag, right? And thank God this ratchet fits. There you go. And then we're just gonna twist it out, and you will be expecting some fuel to spray out. So that's let's see. Boom, like that. See that? Once you break it loose, you can screw it out by hand. So it's a lot of labor costs to change these sensors because the weird location. But now you know how to do it. I tried to find some videos on YouTube on an N63 high pressure fuel sensor replacement, and nobody had it. So this is as far as I know, this is the only video showing you actually how to change it and where it's located. So I'm just gonna keep twisting it until it comes out. And this is the new one. Ooh, wow. Spare. Okay, and let's screw this in. You thread it in by hand. It should go in effortlessly. If there's any binding, you better do not try to force it in ever, even a little bit. Just, you know, because the fuel rail receptacle is at an angle, and you just gotta feel it. Oh boy, that was scary. There you go. There we go. And you know, it should roll in like this. It shouldn't give any resistance at all. If it is, the microsecond you feel any resistance at the beginning threading, if it's not coming in, like, you do not continue, because that means it's gonna strip. Alrighty. Alright, so it's in there, and now we're gonna put that socket back on and tighten it. I torqued it down to 20 Newton meters, and I gotta tell you, it does feel correct, because you know, I tried to increase the Newton meters by like factor of 3, like not factor, but by 3 Newton meters, and it just felt too hard. Felt like it was gonna damage the thing, so I put it back to 20 Newton meters, and it feels super tight. So I think 20 Newton meters, I'd be on the safe side, because it felt pretty damn tight. And we'll reconnect that, and now we'll put the crankcase ventilation hose back on. Make sure it clicks. Boom. And now we'll put everything back together. Alright, so now I'm gonna put back the trim. I'm gonna show you how these rivet things work. This is a OEM genuine BMW stock rivet that I bought from the dealership. About $1 a piece, like 95 cents a piece or something like that. Anyways, you just put it in the hole, just like that. See? Then you get, I got this thing from Harbor Freight. You just click like that, and then you insert into this hole here, like that. And I'm applying a little bit of pressure towards the car, towards the rivet, while I squeeze. It'll click, it'll cut off, and now it's stuck. See? So all you gotta do is all the way across, and you're done. That's what it looks like. There you go. Alright, I'm all done with the high pressure fuel sensor on the passenger side. The other day, a couple weeks ago, I did the high pressure fuel sensor on the driver's side. A very different experience. You were gonna have to remove the expansion tank and take these 10mm bolts, take this, remove the, drain this power steering fluid, and put this on top like that. Disconnect. You don't have to disconnect the expansion tank hose, but on the hose in the bottom, you have to drain the tank, and then take this tank and put it on the top so you have access. Here you can see. Then you're gonna have to do exactly like the passenger side. Take the wheel off, take the wheel arches off, and then you can use that deep socket to access the sensor. So when I did it, I didn't have that socket. I had to use pliers, and it took literally hours and hours. So now that I know how to do it, that's the way I would recommend the driver's side. I bought this DeWalt kit for 99 bucks from Costco, and it's a metric and standard imperial. It's got everything I need. Well, not everything. Probably 90% of the jobs I use this. The one thing you got to know about DeWalt, and I hope DeWalt is listening, is that the hell? Oh. Is that you know, I had to put on electric tape because to make it grip and hold the sockets and whatnot. Because if you don't know which way to open it, all of these sockets would just fall right out. So that's what I did here. And also, this small kit also is from Costco, and this is for, you know, as you can see, I use this kit on this job with the wheel arch. And that was enough to do the battery removal, terminal removal, and the wheel arch. So this is really convenient for light duty screws and whatnot. Again, I put in the electric tape so that if I mistakenly, see, even then it'd fall out. See that? So when you close the DeWalt, make sure the logo is on the top. That way nothing will fall out. So now I'm test driving on the way to get some pho after changing the last high pressure fuel sensor. And I noticed that when accelerating, it's a smoother gradient instead of being sudden acceleration. So when I press on the gas, it accelerates in a smoother manner. It responds smoother, and not so much like you know, you can't predict it. So yeah, it does improve the behavior of the X5 or your any car actually. I guess these sensors, they get lazy over time, and you just got to change them to restore that nice graduated response that you can predict.